There's been a lot of recent questions and confusion regarding the flayer skill as to whether it's broken or not. There was a help post on Capcom's website that seemed to suggest that it is working as intended. It just doesn't work with certain weapon attacks, and I think that is really wrong because I did testing already with elemental shots, fire ammo specifically, and I was getting different results with flare. So using the Yankaku heavy bogan fire attack, heavy bogan with fire rounds, no damage skills other than weakness exploit maxed, and I wasn't hitting a weak point. I was getting a wound within 11 shots directly to the face on daahad without flare, and with flare it was taking 13 shots. It was adding 2 more shots to generate a wound. Now, for those of you who aren't aware of what flare is, it is a skill in Monster Hunter Wilds that specifically states this. If I can pull it up here, if I can find it in my gem slots, because I know I have a gem of it. Give me a second. Oh, it's an armor skill, that's why. Makes it easier to inflict wounds, so you would assume that the damage multiplier is the wound generation multiplier is increased, so like it should take less shots to make a wound. Upon inflicting damage, also deals additional non-element damage, which, by the way, never seen that. So it says right in there that it's non-element, right? The thing is, like, elemental shot has a raw component to it, so even if that was the case, I would still be seeing the non-element damage increase, which I'm not seeing at all. So the thought occurred to me to try the raw component, so we will be trying the Precipice Malleum. As you can see, it has 0 affinity, it has no skills that give affinity, and I have a guard up jewel with handicraft just to prove a point, and 3 precise jewels for ballistics because it just makes it easier to stay in critical range, since that's optimal for testing. So the key component to this is, as you can see also, I have no, like, aside from weakness exploit and convert element, which I will, like, I have no real damage skills on this armor set. So we are going to be testing to see if the inconsistency that I'm seeing in shot amount it takes it to make a wound. So we're going to be counting shots directly to the face. We're not counting missed shots, and we are not counting shots that don't land directly on the face, getting the orange damage numbers. Okay, that is what we will not be counting. And any shots that, when convert element procs, will also not be counted. I'm going to load into this quest, and as soon as I get a wound, I'm going to leave. We're going to count the shots that connect to the face, and then I'm going to write it down. And we're going to do it 3 times without flare, which is what we're currently doing, and see if they're consistent in what the time it takes to wound. Because if they are consistent, and I do have an armor skin. Actually, I need to check my food buffs. Oh, because those might interfere with that as well. That might interfere with testing as well. So we're gonna mess with that real quick, because I just realized that I have food buffs still active, and I don't know if they have damage in there. Custom meal. We're gonna do veggies. We're gonna do Kanafa Defender. We're gonna do medic. So it's all defensive, no offensive. Because wound generation seems to be... I tried doing this with an affinity-based heavy bogan, and I was getting all over the map for frickin' shots. It was varying the shot time wildly. So affinity does seem to affect wound generation. And we're already off to a not-so-great start. That's okay. I'm going to count that as 1, 2, 3. I'm not counting that because it didn't hit. 4. I don't think that was 5. We'll see. That was. That was not to the face. 5. That was to the neck, so I don't think that counts. 6. I don't think those counted either. I don't think I actually hit the face with those. 7. Again, I don't think I hit the face with those. I'm not really hitting the face a lot. That's the issue. Eight. 9. Really shouldn't count that because it wasn't at critical range. Ten. 11. So it's 11 to a wound. That's exactly what I got with the fire ammo. So that's our first attempt. And we're going to mark down 11 with normal. And the joke may be on me, and like it may not proc at all with heavy bowgun, but then why is it costing more shots, direct shots, in critical range to equal the same, like, to generate a wound? It shouldn't do that based on this skill description. So now we're going to try that again. And this time I think I'm actually going to use the invisibility mantle to get a few more consistent shots to the face so that we can see clearly what we're hitting. But I counted 11 clear shots to the face to generate a wound, and it was in the spot that I most consistently hit. No. Killing mantle. Let's go. Because I don't think the Ghillie Mantle the Ghillie Mantle just makes you invisible to the monster, it doesn't increase damage. No. 1, 2, 3. 4, 5. And their Convert Element proc, so we gotta wait till Convert Element kicks off. So we're at 5 right now. Convert Element hasn't kicked off. Like, how long is it on? You know, Convert Element isn't actually showing up in my, like, if you look at my stats, like my status effects, it's not showing up in like the bar. I'm noticing that now. Is that actually affecting my damage? Well, that's something to check. We're at 5. Oh, and I switched to the wrong. Somehow I put on my special. 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10. I missed. That wasn't in critical range. so we'll count that as a miss. There we go, 11. And the reason I'm only counting those from critical range is because if you're not at critical range, you're not getting full damage. So there were only 11 direct shots that hit the same point. Because as long as you hit somewheres on the face, it's just going to generate a wound somewheres on the face where there wasn't a previously existing wound or scar mechanic, was my understanding of how the mechanic works. We're going to try that one more time. And I think we're going to get 11 again. And this is without flayer. Keep that in mind. With flayer, I expect to get 13. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes, because I'm fairly certain. I'm fairly confident that it's just not working as intended, because this is raw shot damage. There's no elemental component, and I'm getting the same values as if I had the elemental component, so...
There! That's our target!
1. 2. Nope. 2. 3. Nope. So I'm out of critical range. 3. 4. Wait for the weak point to go away. 5, 6, 7. Nope. 7. Okay, we'll call that 8, actually, because I heard the pop, and that's about when we had it last time. Nine, 10. I don't think hitting that weak point's mattering. 11. And there's a weak point generated, as you can see. So that is 11 3 times in a row with normal shots, give or take. Because we're only counting the shots that connect directly with the head from critical range and that do not miss. I was taking my sweet time, so we're not going to ignore the time variable because time has no meaning on the flayer skill. It's the amount of hits that you generate. So if it was working as correctly, it would take less than 11 hits to generate a wound, right? Like, that's just how the skill has been described to me. That's what makes sense. So now what we're going to do is we are going to take all these jewels off, and we're going to swap to the only other comparable set, the Guardian Arcfeld Helm, because that's the only set that allows me to really get to full flayer with ease. While maintaining weakness exploit, which I already had on. I actually don't have the boots for that, so we're just going to switch to that, so I have more gem slots to play with. Alright. So base, as you can see, we even have one thing of Part Breaker in here. So we definitely, you would think, would be getting to the max value, right? Well, we'll find out. I'm going to throw an Adapt Jewel in there because I don't want to have to waste time drinking a potion. We don't want to put in any more damage values than we already had, so it's comparable. Would be helpful for keeping the monster from knocking me. I had Gobbler on there, so we're just going to throw Gobbler in there. And what I need to make sure I have is max earplugs. Or at least as close to max earplugs as I can get, because I don't think I'll be able to hit actual max earplugs on this, because I need one gem slot for flayer max and one gem slot for weakness exploit max, so that it's comparable. Alright, so notice I haven't changed any of the skills on here. I still have ballistics, guard, and guard up with one of handicraft, just to put it in there for. And all I've added for the most part, aside from maxing out the skills to test this, is really flayer and weakness exploit. It does have a little bit of part breaker, but part breaker, as I've said, isn't actually working. And a lot of people have noted that it's not actually working, and heck, we're even going to throw in the mending mantle just in case. Alright, so now we're going to do 3 times with flayer and see if our shot values are going to be the same. Keep in mind, these values are also... It was the same whether I had a an armor skin / demon drug on or not, because I got these exact same values beforehand with the fire rounds, so... It says non-elemental values. So this is with flayer equipped. We're going to do 3 runs. Again, same rules. It has to be within critical distance and hit the face specifically with normal ammo through. Two, 3, 4, 5. On our mending mantle, so I don't faint here, because that would definitely mess things up. I don't think I can count those. 6. See, that shot's not... When his head's sticking outside the map, your shots will not connect, period, the end, is what it seems like. Because I've had this happen in previous testing as well. 6. No, that hit a weak point. Oh well. 7. 8. I don't know about this run. We're gonna say that's 9, but I feel like something's not right there, because I think I should hit it more than 9 times. Maybe one of the ones I'm not counting is counting, because that was not what I was getting prior to. Well, we'll do it again. Let's see if that comes up the same. Which flayer even says it doesn't work with elemental, so, but there's still a raw component to the rounds that I was using prior to, so. Try it out. I also think I hit a weak point there, which will mess with the data. 2, 3, 4, 5. Which is about all I'm going to get before he starts being ornery. Oh. 6, 7, 8, Nope, that's not 8. We're at 7. Eight, 9, 10. Nope, that's not 10. So we're already at 9 and it didn't pop. But we counted as direct hits that time, so I must have hit more times than I thought I did last time. It would seem that it is 10. So 10, which isn't much less than 11. But these are less shots, so that was less shots than 11. So maybe it's only not working for certain types. I'm also going to try it with Pierce as well to see if I'm getting the same values, because Pierce is the closest to the elementals that I was using, but it says it doesn't work with elementals, so that means that it's only affecting the raw. So maybe it is working as intended, but it's not really doing jack, because it's only reduced. If it's only reducing it by like 1 or 2. And I think in that first one, I hit a weak point, which screwed the data up. But if it's only like 1 less shot, it should be a lot more than that to generate a wound, I feel, based on the description.
Commencing quest now. Are you prepared?
1, 2, 3. Let's call that 4, 5, 6. Oh, and I hit the weak point that time. 7. 8, 9, 10. Still haven't generated a wound. So I must have hit it more times than I thought. Wait for that weak point to go away. 11. 12. 13. Okay, we'll take one of those out. We'll call that 12. There we go, 13. That seems more like it. So far we have 9, 10, and 13. It's going all over the place, and I'm pretty certain it was 13 is the actual number, because I hit a weak point, and I made shots that were not from ballistic range, so that might skew the data. We'll do 2 more, We'll do 2 more, just in case, with flayer on, because the data, again, is looking wildly different, and that shouldn't be. But I suspect that there were bad counts. Because if you try doing this with the training dummy, what I've noticed with the training dummy is it seems to remember the wound damage that you're doing, so you can't really test it on the training dummy because it doesn't refresh itself. It remembers the previous combo's damage. Which means that, of course it's going to make wounds faster if you test, without flayer first and then test with flayer. Or vice versa. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Seven. Well, maybe not. Well, I hit the face, so we're gonna count that as 7, I guess. 8. Nope. I'm not hitting that. It's because he's decided to be difficult, as usual. He's probably the best one to test it on because he's a lot harder to wound than your average show. Give me your frickin' face. 8, 9. Was that 10? I don't think that was 10. 10. So probably that one probably was 10, so it's like 11. So we'll say 11, which is the exact same as without flayer. Again, it's all over the board here. It's not consistent, and it's not necessarily doing more damage. It's about the same, if not more. Which makes me wonder if Convert Element isn't the problem, but like the armor set comes with Convert Element, but I only have one of it, so it shouldn't be doing more damage. Well, it should be doing more damage with Flayer, but I don't think Flayer is what's causing the additional damage increase here. Because that first run, I definitely hit a weak point, so I can't even count that. So it's about 10 to 13. I'm not going to count that first one where we got 9, because, again, I hit a weak point there, so it's about 10 to, like, 13. Try it again. So I want to get, like, consistent, like, shot count. And so far, I haven't got a consistent shot count. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, that's not. Well, we'll count that as 4 because it's hit. 5, 6. 7. I'm still getting crits in there, which is weird. 8. 9. 10. 11. 12. 13. 14. So it's about 13. I'm gonna call that 13. Because I think one of those shots didn't count. And it's a 13 again. And we're going to do it one more time. So far we've got 13 twice. Which granted is probably because I'm missing part of the normal shots. But I've gotten 13 twice by my count. I'll try one more time. Some of those other shots might have counted in the previous ones, and that's why it made a lesser thing. My count's probably not the greatest, but like, in the ones where it's clear that I'm directly impacting the face from critical range, I'm usually getting 13, so I think it's still costing 2M. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to post to Capcom again, because even with raw rounds, it's not working. It does not appear to be working correctly. And I'm still critting on the face, which is probably messing with the data. I don't know, probably because of weakness exploit. 1, 2, 3, block. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm not sure if that was 12. 13. That's definitely 12. Or was it, that might have been 13. That must have been 13. Alright. Nah, we're gonna call that 13 again, because again, so consistently 3 times I have gotten 13 with flayer, which is 2 shots more than the 11 I got without, because it was consistent there. It's definitely consistent here. It's costing 2 more additional shots with flayer equipped. Now, we'll try that with Pierce as well, just to be on the safe side, and then we'll do without. I'm actually going to save this as a build, no doubt, so in case they ask. We're going to call this raw test. We're going to call this normal test without, raw test without flayer, because that way we've differentiated between the two. I have to take a quick bathroom break, and then we'll be right back and I'll test with the piercing. And we're back. So that was with normal shots. I gotta write that down. And what we have is, in the first 3, it was 11 across the board to a wound. And with flare direct shots, we got 13 3 times out of the 5. So now we're going to do pierce with flare. And we're going to do this at level, we're going to find a bowgun that's at level 3. We're going to try a different bowgun that can get to pierce level 3, because without affinity. That doesn't have affinity in its build. And actually, I don't think we're going to find one, come to think of it, because I was looking for one earlier. Like, our best bet is probably this one. But this is 5% affinity, and that's going to mess with our results. We don't want tetrad shot. And that's where we're going to run into a problem, because I don't think we're going to find a pierce level 3. So the closest we're probably going to get is the Shrouded Mutaka, would be my guess. Or the Rampopolo. I mean, this is 5% affinity, so it's probably not going to matter that much, because your chance of actually getting that are pretty much nil. but that's going to mess with results. I don't think we can do Pierce level 3. So what is the next best option? Let's just do Pierce level 1. With something that just... yeah. Alright. Let's just use the same bowgun. Keep this consistent, and we'll use level 1. Level 1 Pierce. Because you know what? If flayer is in fact working, it should be consistent across the board. And we should see a variable in that. Let's make sure our mill buff has got 30 some odd minutes left. So we're going to do the same quest against daahad, same buffs with flayer, and we're going to do best out of 3. Best out of 5 with flayer because it seems like best out of 5. Or most consistent out of 5, I guess. Because with these, I'm doing multiples because it's an average, obviously, that we're trying to get. So 1. 2, 3, 4. 5. Nope. I guess that hit the face, so I guess I'll call it 5. I don't want to because it wasn't within ballistic range. Three. 4. 5. 6. 7, 8, 9, 10. Still no wound. 11, 12. 12, 13, 14, 15. Oh, sit. 16, 17, 18, 19. This is taking a lot more with Pierce ammo level 3. Level 1. We still have not yet to do. No, I got that. It's not even a direct attack. 20 and 19. Still haven't generated a wound. $20. 21. 'He's being really difficult. 20, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Doesn't count. 27, 28. I think I heard a wound generated. Or almost generated. 29, 30, 31. No. $32. We're at 32 direct hits with the Pierce 1 and still have not generated one. Like, we still haven't had one. $33. Is that 33? $34. $35. $36, and we've generated wound fine at 36. Which is to be expected because Pierce 1 is extremely weak compared to normal 3. I do normal like we're going to have to rebuff our frickin' armors and drugs because that's what we tested with prior to. And honestly, I think we'd be here all night if I didn't use those, especially considering we were at 36 shots with Pierce 1 against Jin Daahad's face to generate a singular wound. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7. That didn't hit. That didn't hit his face anyways. 8, 9, 10. 11, 12, 12, 13, 14, 'We're up to 20 now. That'd be 22. 23. And that was a weak point, not a wound. If you notice now, it's not glowing red, just in case there's any confusion about that on the chest. 24, 25, 26.
Over here, Bob. I'm your target.
Naturally. That didn't hit. 27, 28. I'm not sure if that hit the head or not. I'm gonna say call that 29. That didn't hit for sure. $30. So at that point we counted about 30 direct contacts. It was probably 36, and some of the ones I'm not counting didn't count. That I just didn't count. Counted probably, I guess, towards wound creation, but again, like, it's really hard to tell on that sometimes. So we'll say 30 for that one. Well, like I said, best out of 5 with flayer, because again, I'm not getting consistent wound numbers with flayer. Consistent enough, as consistent as I am without it. Like, and also Jin daahad moves around a lot, so like it's hard to measure that. Like it'd probably be easier if I had to pierce 3 without like affinity and being involved, but I think even then we'd probably still see a discrepancy because it's not functioning as intended. And when you have a bug, it's just not going to damage calculate correctly. 1. Two. 3. That did not hit his face, that hit his back. 4. 5, 6. Nope. 7. Okay. I want to say that's 8. 9. 10. 11. That might be 12. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 8, nope, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. You can already see at 25 that there's wound generation starting. See by that white little scar on his right cheek. 26. No, that was hitting the neck. That's on 26. 26. 27. 28. Alright, I'm gonna call that 30 again because I think I'm gonna round up to 30 because I think 30 is the correct number of times I hit the face correctly. At a rough estimate, we're gonna do it 2 more times. And if I get that 30 number again, well, because at 25 we were seeing wound creation, I'm gonna call that 30. Because, again, there's probably times where I'm not certain I'm hitting it, and I'm probably actually hitting it. We're going to call it 30. Because it's really hard to freaking get consistent shots when a monster is moving around. However, the training dummy, as I've already said, we can't trust for good reasons. 1, 2... 3, 4, 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I don't know if I can call that 13, but we'll say 13. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, I want to say that was 19. One of those was 19. 20. 21. 22. 23. 24. 25. 26. 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, no, that wasn't to his face, 31, 32, 33, I'm not counting that 30. That one is 34 because that wasn't 34 on his face. 34, 35, 36, 36. 36 to one generation that time. Well, we've gotten 36 twice and 30 twice. So let's see, last but not least, which is correct. It's probably 30 that's correct, because I feel like I got partial pierce shots on that because of the way he moved. So I wasn't hitting for all the pierce procs that I normally would get on the head. So that's probably part of the problem here with the pierce ammo, why we're getting wildly inconsistent results. It's because I'm not hitting the way he's moving and the way I'm hitting him is not generating wounds properly, because I'm only getting partial glancing shots. Which would probably be the case even with Pierce 3, but the fact that I was getting consistent numbers with normal and flayer, or relatively consistent numbers, seems to suggest that whatever we get on this run is basically going, whether it's 30 or 36, is probably going to be the number I'm going to call it at. I'm going to try to rein in that accuracy some more. 1, 2, 3. Nope. 3. That didn't hit the face. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 16, 17, 18, I'm gonna call that 18 there, 19, and see I'm getting only 2 ticks of damage, which means that was a glancing blow at best. But it did damage, so we're counting it. 19. Nope. 20. 21. 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. I'm gonna round that up to 30 and call it 30 even, because I feel like I hit a couple more times there. There were 4 of those shots that I was questioning. So we're going to call that 30. So I'm going to say it's 30. And the 36s I was just missing, getting more glancing blows than actual blows. So we're going to say on average it's 30, because it's taking about 30 shocks with level 1 with flayer to generate a wound. Now let's try it without flayer. So I'm going to go to my without flayer test, which again, I have 2 more slots of convert element, and I still have max weakness exploit and no other damage buffs other than the demon dread. But that's because when we started testing, we already had 1 active, so we're trying to keep that consistent. And we're using the same optional quest when Frost Falls to determine this. So this is without flayer. And using level 1 Pierce. We're going to get our healing mantle on. I don't have my mending mantle on this build, so I'm not going to use the other mantle because it's corrupted, and that will mess with our results. And of course he's moving when I don't want him to move. 1. 2, 3. Look where he's gonna run. Show me your face. Sure, that'll work. Four, five. Six, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 'Nope, that didn't hit the face, that hit the neck. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. We already have a wound pop at 20, like a wound starting at 21. I hit that in the face. We'll call that 22 though. I hit the weak point. 23, 24. No, I don't think that hit the face. Five. Six. Wait, am I getting... Nope, that's the neck. 26. 27. So 27... I've got a wound generation going on there. Alright, let's see if that's consistent. So roughly 27 shots, we're getting a wound generation, but that was again with hitting a weak point once. So I don't think that's going to be consistent. But it's still less than 30 and 36 by a landslide. So, and aside from that one where I counted to 28, which I rounded up to 30, which I don't think was 28, I think it was actually 30. Based on, like, the fact that I was not counting, like, 4 shots that probably connected. Also, I need to change the setup a little bit, because I need to put in a freaking adapt jewel. Because I'm tired of losing stamina. It's really... It's not going to impact the testing, but it makes life difficult. It harder for me. So we're gonna... This is without flayer, correct? Yes, this is without flayer. That way I don't have to worry about that. So far we've had a minimum of 30 shots with flayer, and we've had 27 without, with Pierce 1. Again, it's difficult to gauge because the monster moves, so I'm trying to only take the shots when I have a clear shot, so that we can get as accurate a count as possible. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
All ready when you are.
Okay, I can't count that. I should have put on the mini mantle while I was thinking about it. Seven. 8. 9. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 15. We'll just count that. Just get connected with the face. 16. That doesn't count. 17. 18. 'I think that's 19. So 19, I'm already hearing wound generation. Like starting. 20. I missed. 21. 22. 23. Is that hit? 24. 5, maybe? I don't think that was 25. We'll see. 26, 27, we're at wound generation. So 27 twice. We'll do it one more time because it's been 27 2 times in a row. This has been very consistent. I've also been landing shots more directly. There were only a couple there that I basically didn't land well, where I had questions on it. Last go with Pierce. I'm not going to do it with spread because spread is, in my opinion, unless you're using spread 3, it's absolutely terrible for wound generation. And even then, I wouldn't use it.
Let's move out.
On this monster especially, it'd be very difficult to get accurate results. One, 2, 3, 4. No, that's not really 4. 5, 6, 7. 8, 9. Nope, that's not 9. That was 8. That didn't hit the head, that hit the neck. It has to hit those freaking like ear-looking things to be counted as the head at the very minimum. 9. That was close. Oh, I'm out of bounds. My shot's going out of bounds, so it's not registering it. That's great. 10. Okay, that didn't reload my rounds. 11. 12. 13. Nope. 13. That time I did hit him. It wasn't a great shot. So we're going to have a little bit of discrepancy there. Now it's starting to lag because people are getting out. I think that's 10, 11, 12, 13. No, we were at 13. It's 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, nope. I really wish this would behave. This is also on PS5, not on PC, so what I'm doing is testing on, because PC, there's too many ways you can mess with stuff. 25. He's out of bounds again, and it's not counting the rounds. Oh my word. 25, 26, 27, and so we're gonna say 28 again, because it was... No, it's 27 actually. My bad. 27. So it's 27 3 times in a row. 3 shots less than with flayer. 3 to 9 shots less than with flayer. With the same round, same bow gun. The only difference is one has flayer, one does not. And one has convert element, but you know, like they both have convert element in them, so I'm not gonna worry too much about the semantics of that. So there you have it, folks. With flayer, it is taking considerably more shots to generate a wound, and without flayer, even with the raw, it's still taking more rounds when it should be taking less rounds. It can't be working. The skill cannot be working as intended based on the description, which again we will look at because I'm sure people will be questioning this. But again, with flayer, which it says it doesn't work on elemental, so we've been using it with raw this time instead of elemental, and I'm still at the max level of the skill. Significantly easier to inflict wounds, my rear. It is taking at least 3 to 9 more rounds to generate a wound with it than without it. No, the skill is not working correctly as based on the description at all. Again, so that pretty much settles the debate. It's not working. It's got to be a bug. Because otherwise, then their description should read, takes more shots, takes more hits to generate a wound, not less. Meaning it would be a negative skill rather than a positive one, and that's not what the skill description reads. And I'm fairly certain that's probably not what it reads in Japanese either. It's just not working correctly. So, you know, if you've gotten other, like, this is the easiest way for me to test it. I fought daahad several times, and I noticed that when I had flayer, it was taking a lot longer to get wounds than without it. So without it, I'm just generating more runes. Now the reason I do want to showcase why I wasn't doing the training dummy. First off, the training dummy has a lot easier weak points, so it takes more damage than any normal monster would. And third off, to prove a point, you can't really use the training dummy for this because it won't work. See, at 2 shots of the Pierce 1, we already have a wound starting. 3. So at 4 shots, it's already generating a wound. So for some reason, it's taking a lot less in the training dummy than it is in actuality. So what we're going to do is maybe change the training settings, because I forgot that you could change the training settings. High performance barrel, that's the high performance punch training sessions, so that's not what we want. Same as a monster. Let's set high to hard. It says same as a monster, but that's not true. It's not set to instantly inflict a wound. It's set to same as monster. So we're going to change the hide settings to hard. We're going to set that on standby. See, the only skill it's allowing me to select is Convert Element.
That do it?
Okay, and this is with flayer? Yes, this is with flayer. So in the training dummy, see, even though I've set the hide to hard, at 3 I'm already, like, this is inconsistent. At 3 I'm already doing that, and at 4 I've generated a wound. Like, this is why I'm not using the training dummy, because it's going to say that with flayer at 4, I'm generating a wound with Pierce 1. Okay. Which, that is how what I would expect if the skill was actually working correctly, but it's not. So without flayer, let's see how much at Pierce 1 it's going to say with this. I'll wait. See, it's already generated the wound. Let's get rid of that wound, because it's remembering that there is a wound there. So we've destroyed the wound, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's taking 13 shots on the training dummy. So this would make it look like the wound system's functioning normally, but surprise, surprise, on the actual monster, it's the inverse. So something is very wrong, A, with their training dummy, because even though it's set to same as monster, we're seeing a very different scenario when we're actually fighting an actual monster. It's not this, and this is with the settings, hide settings set to hard and normal wound settings, same as monster, which it absolutely isn't the same as the monster, because on Jin daahad, 4 shots was not generating a wound to his head. Okay, it was taking 30 to 36 with flayer and 27 exactly without flayer. So something is very wrong with the damage percentages on monsters versus the training dummy. Even with the training dummy set to the same as monsters, it's not consistent. I mean, it's consistent when you're comparing the training dummy to the training dummy, in which case flayer looks like it's working great, but it's not in actuality, because we're comparing it on an actual monster. And a rarity 7 monster at that, it was an apex, so it's not working right on actual monsters, but on the training dummy it's working just fine. So again, you can't trust the training dummy. It's not an accurate measurement of the monster, of like the actual damage it's doing to monsters, even with the settings. Something's not right. They're gonna have to take a look at that. Anyways, that proves my point. That shows exactly what I'm trying to showcase in here, that if this skill is working as intended, it's definitely not working as intended against monsters, and the only thing it's working as intended is against that training dummy. Hope you enjoyed this, hope it's cleared things up for you, and I hope Capcom gets this fixed, because it's just not right.